Cameron Archer to Southampton, signed, sealed, serendipitous. He is going to be moving on a £15 million deal. Everything's very advanced. He's having his medical today. He is leaving Aston Villa for the umpteenth time, and hopefully the last time, because I feel so sorry for the lad. We're going to be covering everything today, what the sale means for Aston Villa. And if you do enjoy Aston Villa content and Premier League content, leave a like on the video, subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss a thing, and comment down below what you think about the sale. I have to apologise, again I apologised in my last video, I have about 10 minutes of energy in me each day at the moment because I have got some form of flu that is of the man variety, as well as probably a chest infection, so you might hear me cough, you might hear me splutter, but we're going to be talking about Cameron Archer and what his sale will mean for Aston Villa. And in terms of Cameron Archer as a player, we've gone over him in a video previously, but his stats last season, that was for Sheffield United, who did obviously get relegated. Probably one of the worst teams the Premier League has ever seen in that season. He got 4 goals and an assist off of 30 games, 21 starts, and none of his stats in particular stood out to me. Cross accuracy was okay, but then again, it's only 2 successful crosses. 24 chances created is decent, puts him near the top 25th percentile. 30 successful dribbles off of a 50% success rate is pretty good. 72% tackles won, top 10th percentile, again very good, but nothing else really stands out. Even per 90, it just gets even worse in terms of an attacking output. Again, Sheffield United, a team that weren't really creating much in general that season, but everything else is pretty bang average, and it would appear that instead of going with Cameron Archer, who again, yes, he is bang average, he's had a very, very good pre-season this season for Villa, we seem to be favouring John Duran, who, again, we're going to compare them, just a few of their stats here, is our new number 9. He somehow has fluked getting that shirt at the club, and I assume will be given a bit of a bigger role this season purely because of the fuss that he kicked up in the summer. He was throwing up the iron sign on Instagram Live. I can't believe how we're treating him. He should have been annexed, or at least had to apologise to all of the team publicly, I think, because it was a disgrace. But again, in terms of minutes, Cameron Archer got way more Premier League minutes last season, only 2 years older than Duran. Shot accuracy for Duran was a bit better. He did actually manage to get another goal above Cameron Archer, no assist. Obviously, his conversion rate better, passing and chance creation pretty average. But the reason I feel for Cameron Archer is purely this. I mean, you look at his sale history, came through the Villa youth setup, went on loan to Solihull Moors, went on loan to Preston, Middlesbrough, and I think it was Preston, Middlesbrough, and then obviously got sold to Sheffield United for £21 million, and then we bought him back because we had to. There was an obligation to buy him back if Sheffield United got relegated for £16 million, and now we're selling him for £15 million. So overall, we've made a loss on him this season. I mean, overall on the books, we've made a profit of about £2 million on him as a player, but it's just not fan-dabby-dozy, is it? So yeah, ultimately, I think it's a bit of a strange one. I thought he had a very, very good pre-season. He scored 3 goals this pre-season, and a couple of them were actually very, very nice finishes. He's a bulldog of a player. He's tenacious, very, very good with the ball at his feet, and very clinical as well. He's shown glimpses of that over his whole career, but I think this could be one of those ones that's probably more beneficial for him than the club. If John Duran is the direction that we're going in, again, as you can see on the screen, he has been given the number 9 shirt going into the new season. It's a big hole to fill for Aston Villa. You know, our number 9 really has been Ollie Watkins over the past few seasons. We haven't had like an actual number 9. All of our strikers have liked different numbers. I think the last player that had the number 9 shirt was probably Danny Ings. I think he had it for a little bit. Then obviously Bertrand Traore. So we've needed a good number 9 for many, many years. But, you know, John Duran has had a summer of outrage. He's been saying he wants to leave the club. He's been throwing up the hammer sign on Instagram Live. He has been acting like a petulant child, and perhaps acting like a petulant child has got him what he wanted, because ultimately he has got the number 9 shirt, and you'd assume with the number 9 shirt comes the extra responsibilities of playing more minutes and being a talisman for Aston Villa in the Premier League and in the Champions League. But I just think, you know, his experience is way less than Cameron Archer. Cameron Archer's reliable, his work ethic is grand. I really, really think he is probably one of the hardest workers in the room. He's always there or thereabouts, and I thought this could have been a season for him to push on, considering it doesn't look like incomings are going to be very fruitful from now until the end of the window. Obviously, we're going to get onto that a little bit later with this sale. It's £15 million. It's less than we bought him back from Sheffield United for. Now, I don't know how, in terms of PSR and FFP, that works. Whether it all goes into last year's accounts, the sale from Sheffield, and then this is the new 3 year of accounts. I really don't know. But I just thought it would have probably been more beneficial to keep him around, give him some game time, and possibly bolster his market value so that we could maybe get a big sale from him next year if ultimately he isn't in our long-term plans. But he is gone. John Duran's our number 9. There's a lot of talk that we needed to get the Cameron Archer sale over the line purely so that we could buy João Felix. And if that's the case, then that's the case. Fair enough. If this means that João Felix comes in, a player that Unai Emery has described to the board and apparently to Monchi as being game-changing for his style of play, then I'm all for it. You can't deny a transfer of Cameron Archer if you're getting someone of the quality and, according to Emery, the importance to Aston Villa of a João Felix. And we're going to have to see how this develops. We're going to have to see how this plays out. There's obviously the Gatru, the Dia links. We need to sell Diego Carlos first. Apparently that is kind of dead in the water now. Fulham are looking elsewhere, possibly Anderson from Crystal Palace. But I think if we got Gatrudia and Felix in, especially, look, I see a lot of talk about Felix, and ultimately I trust Unai Emery, and Unai Emery saying he will revolutionise this team and be a star for me, then I'm all for it. Atletico clearly need to sell some players. The Gallagher deal is nearly about to fall through for them. I think João Felix would be stupid to pick Chelsea over Aston Villa, so we're going to have to see how it develops in the next few days. But ultimately, Cameron Archer, I think for the final time, is going to be sold by Aston Villa, and I'm really, I feel bad for him that it never worked out. I wish it did. I think he was a good player, but he never really got a chance, and I just think the fact that he's been sold twice under Unai Emery kind of tells you everything you need to know. I don't think Unai Emery thought that he was going to be his type of player. Perhaps he didn't fit the system very well, and now we need to get fully behind John Duran. I understand what he's done in the summer, but if he's our number 9 and Cameron Archer's been sold, we are all behind the John Duran hype train. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I will be back very soon, hopefully feeling better, because I actually feel like death in a cup.